Hey everybody, if you just joined me, my name is Angela and I am doing a YouTube live for the third time this week on a walk. And so today's video is going to be dedicated to walking and how it has helped me in my 57 pounds down weight loss journey. So first I'm going to start off by saying walking is just one of several things that I have done in a new set of habits that have completely transformed my life and made this weight loss journey feel effortless. So although it is something very important and I will be talking about it tonight, I do want to say there are other components to this journey that have made me successful. So first, let's start off by talking about walking. So here's why I love it. It's easy. You can do it anywhere. You do not have to have a special outfit on. Like if I go to the gym, I'm like, I got to wear a sports bra and a workout outfit and my workout shoes and, my sneakers and all this stuff. And then I'm gonna have to shower after. Like there's all these things that are almost barriers of entry if it's not a habit. Whereas with walking, it is an approachable exercise that is free, healthy, easy on the joints, low impact. You don't need special shoes. I'm literally wearing my house shoes, even though I will say my house shoes are pretty supportive, but I feel like you don't need to put on a sports bra. You don't have to change clothes. You can do your steps on your lunch break at work. In fact, you can just, house walk. One of my friends, Gary, told me this week, he literally said, I get 18,000 steps a day. I said, what? And he said, I house walk. He literally walks around his house. Sometimes he'll go outside, but he's mapped out a path in his house. 18,000 steps a day. I said, oh my gosh. I mean, he works from home, but still. Anyway, those of us mere mortals can only aspire to that many steps. I usually get about 7,000 to 8,000 a day, and that's 2,000 to 3,000 more than I used to. So before I began this walking journey, I was getting about 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day, and I would say that's the average American. But I'm on a mission to lose weight, and so here we are. And I had learned from the glucose goddess about how even just a brief walk can lower your blood sugar, in particular after a meal like dinner. And so I felt that this is so helpful to aid digestion, get a little extra movement into my day. And I have recently, when I say recently, I'm talking like over this past week, intensified my workouts by adding ankle weights and wrist weights. So here's my ankle weights and then these wrist weights. So the ankle weights are 1.5 pounds each and these are 1 pound each. So here you go. Also, with walking, I feel like those of us who don't want to do like high impact cardio, like the high intensity interval training, like HIIT training, don't love it, not my favorite, but I can do a walk, So anyway, I just feel like it's a very simple, basic, fundamental type of movement that we as human beings can all incorporate more of. So that is such an important part of my journey. I wanted to give it a shout out at the very beginning. But also in this video, I would be remiss if I did not talk about, like I have been every day, the carnivore diet. And that has been the primary way I've been eating since January of this year. I have fallen off occasionally, and on those rare instances, I will use a GLP-1, like a semaglutide, which is the generic form of Ozempic. I will use a very tiny microdose of that. It's called microdose when it's less than 0.25. So I do 0.1. I'm talking like it's like this much, in the needle. I'll do that as an injectable, and that helps me get over the binge tendency because I do have binge eating disorder. So that has been also, I would say, not the most important component in my weight loss journey, but it is something I do like to recognize because in the past, without those GLP-1s, it would be easier for me to be derailed after a binge. Whereas with this, if I get bingy and it's like 3 or 4 days and I just can't seem to get back on track and get right back on the carnivore, I will do that tiny little microdose and it really helps. And then eventually I'm able to get back onto the carnivore way of eating. And also, I also like to give a disclaimer. I tend to be more of a ketovore because 2 or 3 times a week I will eat a little vegetables. Not a lot, just a little bit. So I know the carnivore police would be like, that's not real carnivore. So I do say ketovore some days, but most days I do skew more authentic carnivore where it's like what I ate in a day for breakfast will be, this is a standard day of eating for me. This is what I ate today. For breakfast I had coffee, again, true, not pure carnivore, but just like this is the one thing I had that was not pure carnivore was coffee. But I put in, oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, the coffee actually wasn't pure carnivore because I did put in a little bit of cacao butter, like a teaspoon of cacao butter for some fats. I put in about half a tablespoon of Kerrygold unsalted butter. That is carnivore. And then I did a teaspoon of coconut oil. So those, the cacao butter, the coffee, and the coconut oil were not carnivore. So those three things, they were fat, but you know, whatever. Anyway, that was my breakfast. I had half a scoop of collagen peptides powder for a little bit of protein, about 8-9 grams of protein in that. So that was my breakfast. My mid-morning meal, it was a big one. I had like a tablespoon of Kerrygold salted butter, and I fried up 4 eggs and 2 slices of cheese. So that held me over. I was really glad that I did that really big breakfast. Normally I do like half of that, but today I was like, I need a big hearty breakfast, and I'm so glad I did, because today at work, I was so busy. I had meetings back to back from like 11 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. So no lunch break for me. So I did not eat lunch until like 1:45 p.m. and I was hungry by then. And then I had some beef liver. I had previously cooked some up. I probably had like 2.5, 3 ounces, not that much, but just enough to make me feel good. So I had that beef liver for lunch. And then I had for dinner a burger patty that I air fried and put on 2 pieces of cheese. I put in a slice of Havarti cheese and a slice of Swiss cheese. So that was my day. This was actually not a big eating day for me. This was not a day where I was like super hungry, ravenous. So I think it's because I have been sick. I'm getting over it, but you know, there you go. And yesterday, I think I was really hungry because the day before I was sick and I didn't eat a lot. So yesterday, for dinner, I was like, man, I need a lot of food. So I was having like, I had some steak, I had 2 hot dogs, I had some slices of chicken breast deli meat with some melted cheese on it, like slice of Swiss cheese, you know. So I had a lot to eat last night, but I was super hungry, so it is what it is. And here I am just getting my steps after dinner. So I just do 2 times around the block. It's about 15 minutes. I just tell my family I'm getting my steps. 15 minutes, that's all I need. So also the next thing I want to talk about in this journey is strength training. So I do feel that it has been a game changer for me because I think it has transformed my metabolism. And one thing that my friend Laura has commented on is she's just like, when you do have your binges, the scale doesn't really go too high crazy up. I have noticed it'll pop up, but it goes right back down. And she's asked me, she's like, do you think that your binges are kind of keeping your metabolic rate guessing, meaning like your metabolism is running pretty clearly? And I was like, I think there's something to that because I have built up so much